Hey, hey. Welcome everybody to Miss Glow's Kitchen, where there's sugar, spice, and everything nice, where we slice, dice, and entice, using everything we can, from peppers to allspice. What's up, my people? Y'all know what time it is? See y'all in the kitchen. We are grilling today. Now the first thing we want to do is we want to prepare our meat. So we want to get it all set up. These are chicken thighs. They've been washed and patted dry already. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to inject these with some Hennessy. You can find an injection needle probably in a grocery store, dollar store. They're not very expensive. Don't pay more than about $2 for it, because that's all it's worth. Okay, now if you don't have an injection needle, you can marinate these thighs for a few hours if you want to in some kind of marinade, or even you can take a fork and you can stick holes in it, hold it open a little bit, and pour your liquid down in there. Now use some Sazon garlic powder, onion powder. Don't season too heavily. You want to season both sides of the meat though. You eat both sides, you do want to season both sides, honey. Okay, so we want to make sure you got enough on there. It's going to get like a barbecue like glaze on. I'm going to show you later, a little bit later, in a few minutes actually, how to make it. So you just want to season your thighs. Now you want to tuck them under like I'm doing. Tuck the skin under there a little bit. They look more uniform on the grill, and they'll all cook evenly about the same time, so no big deal with that. That's what I was doing at that point. Now we're on to the pork chops. Pork chops look like that. I've washed these off in about water, but a cap full of vinegar in there. Washed them off really well. Now you want to pat these dry too. You want your seasoning to stick to it. So again, same seasoning, seasoned salt, onion powder, garlic powder. If you have other herbs or spices you want to put on your pork chops, feel free to do that. It will work. Alright, so you want to season both sides of your chops as well. Alright, I'm going to switch over. I got some shrimp here. They're the 812, the size 812. So these are rather bigger than the ones that I normally use. Okay, they're already pretty clean, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull the shell off, the tail and the shell. And I want to make sure there's no gook at the end where that tail sticks down in that shell. Make sure there's no gook back there. Alright, so you want to wash them. You want to season them. So you only saw me put seasoning on one side. Why? Because I put them in a little pile and tossed them to get the seasoning all over them, seasoning all over them evenly. Now, you toss them, get the seasoning on there. You want to stick them on the skewers. However many you want to stick on there. I'm going to put 2 on each one, and then one of them I want to put 3. Cool, easy peasy. Make sure you soak these skewers for 2 hours. You can soak them in water, a mixture of water and apple juice if you want to put a little flavoring in it, but just make sure you soak them for about 2 hours in water. You don't want them to burn up on you or catch fire on the grill because they're too dry. Those are Italian sausages. I don't have to do anything. If you're on low carb, you want to do a quick thing, you can stick those on skewers and cook them too. Alright, here's the barbecue sauce. We got about a 1/4 cup of Hennessy right there and about a cup of barbecue sauce. Alright, black pepper, lemon juice. Alright, so this is going to make our barbecue sauce out of the bottle taste homemade. Quick trick for you. Alright, so because of the Hennessy and the lemon juice, it's going to end up being a glaze. It's not going to be as thick as a regular barbecue sauce, but that's what I wanted. I don't want a thick barbecue sauce on the thighs this time, so I'm going to go with this a little bit thinner when I brush it on. Now if you look at it right there, it's not very like super thin. It's not. Alright, so I'm going to taste it right here. Adjust your seasoning. So if all you taste is that barbecue sauce out of that bottle, we got a problem. You got to add some more to it. Now if you want to thicken this up, you can cook it on the stove. You can put yourself a slurry in there, a little bit of cornstarch or a little bit of flour. You can cook it. It'll thicken that barbecue sauce up for you. So if you want a really thick sauce. So I'm going for a glaze consistency, so I'm cool with that. That's that. That is ready. Sorry, that's my doorbell. Sorry, people. Okay. Alright, so once that's ready, guess what? We're ready to go out to the grill and light it. Alright, so you can skip forward. If you have seen this part already, I have a video out on how to light a grill. So if you have seen how to light a grill, then you've probably seen this. But if you haven't, then take a look-see, because I'm going to light the grill here without lighter fluid. I'm going to use a charcoal chimney. It's what I like. I don't like to use lighter fluid anymore. So all you need is that charcoal chimney right there. You see it's looking all rusted, look a little tried and true, baby, because it's been sticking with me. You need that charcoal chimney, a paper bag, matches or a lighter, and of course you need your charcoal. Now here, these are a little bit different. This is lump mesquite charcoal. So sometimes I do get the regular square charcoal briquettes. A lot of times I barbecue. I just ran into this one, wanted to try it. I actually love it. So in a moment, I'm going to move the camera over so you can see that these pieces are shaped like wood. They're shaped like almost as if it's cut up wood, but it actually is the same as regular charcoal. So if you use a Kingsford or another kind, the little charcoal square briquettes, then this is the same thing. It's just made into a different shape. So here, take a look at that, and they see they just shaped like little wood and stuff. But it makes no difference what kind of charcoal you use, because if you light it correctly, it's gonna light up, and you're gonna be able to cook. So that's fine. Now at this point, you only want to put charcoal. You're only gonna put charcoal on one side of the grill. The only reason why is because we're gonna use what we call direct heat and indirect heat. Direct heat is that meat right over those coals where it's cooking. The indirect side is that side over there with no charcoal. But after we close the cover, the lid on the grill, then you'll see that it will light up, or it will heat up the entire inside of the grill. So it'll still cook on that side, only it just won't be cooking directly over those coals. Okay, so here's how you use the charcoal chimney. You want to stuff that paper bag in the bottom. There's a space at the bottom, a smaller space. You want to stuff your paper bag in there, your newspaper or whatever kind of kindling you're going to use to light this. All right. So you want to even out your coal so that your charcoal chimney can sit on it without tipping over. So that's the idea. You do not want this to tip over. Remember that bag. We're going to put coals in the top right here. So that bag in the bottom that's lit up, it's going to light the coals that's in the chimney, but it's going to light the coals that's on the bottom of it too, a little bit. So this works as far as getting your coals lit nice and hot. So no big deal. All right, so I'll move those big pieces out of the way. I don't want those sticking up out of there like that. All right, so I'll just put that one on the side. That one's going to burn kind of slow, which is good. So everything else will be lit up fiery hot, and that one is what's going to keep it lit for us. It's going to keep the grill hot for us, because that one burns long and slow. So I like this charcoal. But if with regular charcoal, don't worry about it. If you know you're going to make a good amount of meat, then you put a good amount of charcoal. If you're going to make one thing, like you're going to make burgers or Italian sausage or something, then you don't put as much charcoal. You don't want to waste charcoal. You really don't. All right, so what I do now is I will light this on multiple sides of the chimney. Now what we want to see when we're lighting is that white smoke that's coming out of the top. That's what we want to see. That's letting us know that that bag at the bottom down there, it's lighting those coals up. So I'll come around on this side now. All right, I'll light that bag really well. And now make sure it catches. This is tricky sometimes, especially if the wind is blowing. It's kind of tricky. Alright, so the idea is just get this burning nice and hot. So I know a few minutes earlier I turned the camera towards me. I was talking right there. What I was saying is it's like 80 degrees out here, so it's not really, really hot. I'm in the sun, but I have on a cap, and the weather is not that bad to the point where I will sweat while I am out here grilling. So that's what I was saying. All right, now here, I'm just showing you that that's what you want to see. You want to see that white smoke coming out of there is lit correctly. So now all we have to do is wait. Now, the idea here, especially if you're using just regular charcoal briquettes, the idea is you want to see this charcoal gray around the edges before you pour this onto the other charcoal that's already down in the grill. So that's what you're looking for at the top. You want those edges to be nice and gray, not the whole charcoal piece. Don't let the whole thing get turned gray or you've burned out your charcoal. So it'll do you no good. You only want it around the edges. Now what I'm doing here is I got some non-stick olive oil spray. So what I've done is I'm just going to wipe down the grill with it. I don't want the meat sticking on there. These have already been cleaned, so I clean my grill between each use. I come back and I clean these grates and dump the old charcoal out, so I keep it clean so the next time I come back to use it, it's already ready. That's one thing I don't have to do. So all right, you want to wipe these down really well. Only the side that you're putting the meat on. It's not necessary to wipe down the other side or to put the non-stick spray. You can use corn oil, olive oil, you can use anything you want to use on there. Only thing I don't recommend is that you put it over that fire and you spray that non-stick spray or something on there. Don't do that. So that's why I have mine off to the side, and I will usually take care of it then. I don't want my meat sticking at any point. And sometimes the seasoning that comes off your meat, it'll stick right there too. So you want to make sure that you don't let that stick and then burn on there. You'll have burn spots on your meat and you don't want that. So I am about to show you so that you won't do that. Or you will have perfectly cooked barbecue and the color will be beautiful. That's what we're looking for. All right, so you see that smoke is coming up even more. That's what we want. To see that white smoke coming up like it is. All right, that's good. All right, so it's not going to take as long as we think it's going to take for this to start, because when you see that smoke like that and it's a lot, then you know your charcoal is catching. So that's what we need for it to do. If you got a shelf like that at the top of your grill, and if you use it, because I do, I use that rack that's at the top right there, so I always wipe that off too with some type of oil, just to make sure, again, that my meat doesn't stick, up there either. So I'm careful, but just remember with that rack at the top right there, that side over that is still over direct heat, and that other side is indirect heat. So don't think it's not going to cook like that because it's that rack at the top. It's still going to be as hot as that bottom rack is right over those coals. So be careful with that you don't end up burning your food or getting really dark spots on your food, which is not appealing and doesn't taste good either. But you know that. All right, so now what we're going to do here is, you see that fire coming out the side, so it's ready. I meant to put the camera up so you can look in the top and see that the coals were indeed getting gray around the edges, but you can see, once you see that fire coming out the top right there, then you know damn well it's ready. So just just pour them evenly as you can on top of the charcoal down in there. So the gray one that's on the side right there, take those tongs and move that hot coal right over there. Don't leave it over there to waste, because that's what it's going to do if it's by itself. It's just going to burn out. It's not going to do anything really. Okay, so check out that fire. Check out that flame right there, which is good, because that ensures that the rest of our charcoal at the bottom is going to catch on. So at this point, I put the grates on the grill, and the reason why I do, so they can heat up, they can get hot. So that once we begin to put the food on there, sizzle, sizzle, it's going to be ready to cook. So it's going to be nice and hot. So at this point, you want to close the lid. If you got a temperature gauge on there like I do, what I want to do, since I'm doing chicken pork chops, I want to get it to about 350, 400. Now, if it was ribs, I would get it up to about 300 before I put my ribs on and then watch them, because ribs are low and slow, but the rest of this meat is not. So all right, we're at 350, nearly 400, so we're in between, which is like 375, of course, but that's fine. All right, see how my pork chop just slid right there? That's why I tell you to wipe some non-stick spray or some type of oil on here. You don't want to put your meat on there and then it's sticking. That's not going to do any of us any good. All right, so watch this. So here is the part if you want to learn how to actually cook the meat. So here, that's what we're doing. We're actually to the part where we will cook the meat. So we'll cook the pork chops, we'll cook the chicken, and then we'll cook the shrimp. Burgers are fairly easy, so I didn't record the burger part, so I may do another video just doing burgers. It's something tricky about burgers. You can cook burgers with that flame coming up out of that grill, and they're so good, but it takes a little bit of skill to do it. It's something I just think I want to do another grilling video with that. But anyway, let's just let our meat right here, these pork chops, let's just let this cook. Yep, I'm moving. So I'm going to say this in the beginning. Close this, and then we're going to wait. So I'm going to say it in the beginning, because you hear a lot of people, especially a lot of men. So you hear them say, are you looking or are you cooking? Well, at this point for us, we're looking and cooking. So there are people who say, don't open your grill while your meat is cooking. But I'm going to tell you, especially if you're a newbie or a beginner, or I'm not. I've been doing this a while. I still open my grill. The only thing I say to cook low and slow is ribs, and that's when you get those ribs off that direct heat, move them onto the indirect heat, close your grill, and then you let them cook for a period of time before you go and you baste them, and then you come back. But this is not the type of meat we're going to do like that. All right, so we're actually going to brown this meat till we have a really good color on it. So that's what we're going to be looking for. Really good color on it. Then we're going to move it off the direct heat onto the indirect heat so that the chicken can cook all the way on the inside to the bone, because there's a bone in this thigh. So if these were boneless, then they would cook a lot quicker, but they're going to cook a hell of a lot slower because of that bone in it, but that bone gives it some flavor. So that's what we want to do here. So actually, you keep hearing me laugh right there and turn around, but I actually have my sister and her friend sitting right there. So I'm grilling, but we're actually having drinks and chopping it up a little bit, which is cool. So in a little while, my son and my grandson will come out in the yard too. So I just enjoy barbecuing. It's just this whole family thing. I love it. It's great. All right, so I'm putting some. Now this is actually olive oil. So I have two bottles like this, the one with the non-stick spray, but this one is actually olive oil that I put in there. So I'm spraying olive oil on the chops, not on the fire or the coal. Spray it directly on the meat. What happens is I want to keep this meat nice and juicy, but I want to get a beautiful color on the outside of it. I don't want to dry this meat out so that it's like paper when you bite it. You got to drink something every time you take a bite. No, I like juicy meat, and so I know everybody. So you want to be well cooked, but you want it to be juicy. I had to laugh at myself right there. I was really having a ball. But anyway, I'm going to stay right here and watch these. And the only reason why I say so, because I don't mind grill marks on my meat, but I do not want burn marks. So everybody's got a different method to the way that they barbecue. I am trying to teach you my method, which to me is fairly easy. It's the easiest way to do it for me. Because sometimes if you listen to more experienced people that's been grilling for a while, they'll give you tips, but those tips are not conducive. Like, you can't use it when you are a beginner. You'll end up burning your meat or having burn marks on it, so you don't want to do that. All right, so me, I turn my meat, so I let it brown, but I will turn for sure. I would rather turn it than burn it. Y'all know that's my favorite saying, so if you've been watching any of my other videos, then you know I always say, turn it, don't burn it. So I'll turn something as many times as I need to. All right, a little bit more olive oil on here. So if you want to make up a bottle of liquid, then you can poke holes in the top of a water bottle. You can mix some lemon juice, some apple juice. You can put some seasonings in it. So you can have yourself a bottle of liquid to put on your meat to keep it moist, but actually to add more flavor to it. So it'll do it. You can use lemon juice, lime juice, apple juice. You can use some seasoned salt in there, some garlic powder, and just shake it up and squirt it out on your meat as you need to. So it's a number of things you can do, so you don't have to put more oil on your meat. I'm just using olive oil today, but I do normally come out with a bottle of flavored, I call it flavored, so some kind of flavored liquid. You don't want to come out with just plain water. You don't want to spray plain water on your meat. You don't want to do that. So you season or you add flavor every step of the way that you can. You don't want to over season, but you want to make sure that your meat has some flavor. All right. Okay, that flame right there. All right, don't fear. Don't fear if your grill flames up like this. It's one of two things you can do when you see that flame right there. You can move your meat onto the indirect heat side of the grill and close your grill cover, which will then smother those flames. The other thing you can do is those flames will burn. So they'll burn you. those flames will burn your meat if it's too hot, but they will brown your meat quickly if you want them to. So what you can do right here is you can use that flame to brown your chops and then move your chops onto the indirect heat side. And so if you have a water bottle with the seasoning in it or liquid like I told you, then what you can do is you can spray a little bit on that flame to put it out, but you don't want to put too much. You don't want to douse it to the point where you're just drowning your coals out with water. You don't want to do that. So that's, something you learn early on is how to put that flame out on the grill. And that is why I always say, even if you have a smaller grill than this, you leave a side on it for indirect heat. So there's a part of your grill you do not put charcoal. It's going to help you if you do that. So I've been doing that for a while, leaving that part with no charcoal so I can use it for indirect heat. I can pile my meat up right there if my grill gets too hot or if that flame starts coming up like that. Because if you light your whole grill and then your whole grill is on fire and you got flames coming up like that, ain't shit you can do. It ain't nothing you can do but take your meat off. You're going to end up burning your meat if you do that. So you don't want to do that. Well, trust me when I tell you. So when you get out there on the grill, then you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Now here, I keep my little brushes, but guess what? I put that non-stick on there. Look, I put the non-stick oil on there. So look what happens. All I did was take that brush it up there, and I brushed that seasoning from those pork chops off the grill right there. The reason why it will burn, and then when you put your next meat on here, you will not only have grill marks on there, you will have burned grill marks from that seasoning being right there. So you don't want to do that. So avoid that at all costs. Clean your grill in between your meats if you can. So if you got a brush like this, because I got one of these brushes that I wash the grill with, but this one is to ensure that I can clean off seasonings or any residue from the meat that I have on there. Alright, so I'll close it until I get the chicken thighs. The grill, if you leave it open, it starts cooling down. So if you look at your temperature gauge, when you close it back, you'll see that it's gone down quite a few degrees. So if you don't want to do that, make sure you close your grill in between switching meats or whatever you might be doing. Just close it and open it back when you get ready to put the meat on there that you need to put on there. So, okay, see? Oh, Smokey smoking again. Here we go. Remember, we tucked those chicken thighs. Remember that? Tuck that skin again right there before you put them on the grill. So, one, it gives you a nice presentation with it, but two, it'll cook them evenly for you. So that's what you want to do. So hopefully, your thighs, when you put them on there like that, they're uniform in size. So like I said, these have the one bone in it. So you get them where they have like a T-bone. They got that one bone and they got this bone that goes across the top of it. But these are different. They've got the one bone in it, which I like to put these on the grill because then it gives people, a chance to just grab that chicken and then just bite into it. And then we know the bone imparts some flavor into your chicken too. So if you can avoid grilling boneless chicken, then do that. Try to do a piece of chicken that has a bone in it, so it gives it more flavor. Now, if you look on the side of my grill right there, you will see there's a flame. It's flaring up. Now, when your grill is grilling like this and the smoke goes crazy, you see it coming out of the sides and everything like that, that's when you know you've got a flame under your meat. So that's one obvious sign when it's just not coming out of that smoke pipe on the top, that you've got some other kind of fire going on in there. So you can see now I've noticed that it's going crazy with smoke. So I don't want to burn the thighs up. So what happens is I'm going to move them. I'm going to try to keep that skin tucked right there, but I'm going to move them off this flame just for a minute until I can get this flame to go down. Now, if you don't, and you leave that right there and you try to put that flame out, you'll more than likely end up with burned meat. So you don't want to do that. So here, watch. Instead of putting that liquid on it right there, I'll just try to close the lid to get rid of the flame. Now, what I will do is go make myself up a bottle of liquid now, because now I see that my grill has gotten so hot that I need it. Normally I don't. But I'm going to go in here and put some lemon juice and something else in it. So meanwhile, just let your meat go. go and so I'll come right back. Because for one, don't leave the grill too long when you've got meat on there and it's on the direct side. Don't leave your grill too long. Now if you've got all of your meat on the indirect side, then you can walk away for 5 minutes or so. But other than that, don't walk away from it. Alright, this is good. And so you see it's not smoking as badly as it was before. Now we've got some smoke coming out of there, but not as badly as it was flaming up and smoking before. So you can see in that little hole right there that the flame right there did die down. And so that's what I was looking for it to do. Okay. Alright. I don't want to leave it too long, but I just want to let you see what happens when your grill is smoking like this. Alright, so relax when you barbecue and take it easy. You get out there grilling like that, relax. Bring everything out that you need. That's why I prepare the meat first before I light up the grill, because after that, once I light up the grill, it gets hot and I start putting things on. I don't want to run back and forth. That's a good way to ruin your meat, is the running back and forth. So you don't want to do that. You want to get yourself a table, set it up right there, and have everything right there that you need. But if you have to go and do something like I just did with this bottle, I want to go in there and put some lemon juice in some water, then you have to do what you have to do. Okay, so you see me checking the bottom of it now. Just want to make sure it didn't burn. Okay, all right. Okay, just gonna move them back on the direct heat side. All right, so meanwhile, we got our pork chops right there. Now what happens with those pork chops, that I want to take them off right now because I don't want a tough piece of meat. So I'm gonna put a little bit of liquid on them so they can stay juicy. They can keep cooking for me on the indirect heat side because I want them to get tender. I don't want a dry piece of paper, a dry piece of leather. I don't want that. So I want to make sure they get tender before I take them off. Put that flame out over the chicken. Close the grill and let it go again. So you see how easy it is. Grilling is not as hard as some people make it out to be. They make it out to be so difficult. It is not. It's a lot easier than we think. You just got to prepare. And you have to have everything right there that you need, because you don't want to go running crazy trying to find things or get things that you need. So you figure out in the beginning what you need and you bring it all out with you. Alright, I'm listening to my favorite, some jazz. I love jazz. So I'm listening to smooth jazz radio, actually. Couldn't put it on here. Didn't want to have a hassle about copyright, so I didn't. I always do that when I grill. I'll put a little speaker out there, put some type of music on, whatever mood I'm in. Put something on I like and listen to it while I'm cooking. But for sure, you keep your mind on your food and what you're doing. Alright, so it's flaming up under my chicken again. I'm going to put it out. Instead of moving the chicken and closing the grill, I'm going to put it out this time. Alright, took me a minute. The grill is extremely hot. I like that though. Alright. I want a little dark, that middle one right there. You're going to be really careful with that. Okay. It'll be good. Okay. I'll put a little more. Now for one, this is gonna put that flame out, but it's going to keep the chicken juicy because that's what I want. So I'll squirt that over. Alright. I don't want that flame under there because I don't want my skin burned. So I got it skin side down right now. Yep, gonna be smelling like barbecue when I get in the house. It'll be smelling like I grilled for real. Okay. So we've got the shrimp skewers, the Italian sausage, and then later I'm going to put on like 4 hamburger patties. So I got some other meat to do, but the grill is quite hot enough, so it's going to stay hot enough to cook all of that. So as I said earlier in the video, if you don't put enough charcoal, then your charcoal burns out. You've got gray at the bottom. They're all gray. They're all like ash. Then your grill is going to go out. It's not going to be able to cook a lot more meat when it does that. You'll have to relight your grill. Relighting the grill is another video. That's another video. But meanwhile, with this one, let's just keep going with this meat. Okay. No flame. No flame is good. I'm gonna let it keep cooking. No flame is good. All right. All right. Check your chicken. Now, if it looks like that skin is getting too dark or something, turn it over to the other side. So don't let it burn. Turn it, don't burn it. Right? And don't keep the lid open long enough to start a flame back under that chicken again. Close it. You got it going nice and hot. Close it. That's hilarious. That's hilarious. But yep, I had a ball with them while cooking this meat. It was so good though. This meat was so good. Especially those injected chicken thighs. Looking in again. So now, actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to let those chicken thighs go. Now those chicken thighs, I'm going to take them off the direct heat. I'm going to put them on the indirect heat. And when I put them on the indirect heat, then I'm going to put the sauce on them. And so once I put the sauce on them, I'll put the Italian sausages and the shrimp on this side. Those shrimp will take the grill is so hot. But since they're a little thicker, because they're a little bigger, they're probably going to take about 5-6 minutes to cook. But pretty much after that, this is done. So doesn't take that long for Italian sausages. Here's a tip for those Italian sausages. The size that you put them, when you put them on the grill, the size that they are when they're raw, when they're done, they're going to get a little bit skinnier. So there you're going to see a skinnier sausage there. And that's kind of going to let you know that that they're ready. But if you're not sure if Italian sausages are ready, break them open and look at them. So just be careful. Be careful with your burgers, that you don't keep your burgers on there so long that they dry out. So when you take them off the grill, if you can take them off the grill with a little bit of pink, they will continue to cook and they will become a medium, like a medium well. But if you're not sure, then just make a well in the middle of your hamburger and put a small ice cube in there, and that will keep your hamburger juicy. So the shrimp, turn them about once. So let them go a couple minutes. Check that side. When that side, the one side is ready, flip them over on the other side. When you flip them over on the other side, put your sauce on them, because you're not going to flip them over again. You will to put sauce on the other side, but not to cook. And then you can take those off. So those are my tips for cooking meat. If you're not sure if your thighs are done, take the tongs and tear it open right by the bone and look at it. If it's still pink, too pink or raw by that bone, keep cooking them. So those are my meat tips. Thanks for watching. See y'all next time. All right, ladies and gents. So this plate you just saw at the beginning, the plate I just showed you, everything on this plate, except this salad, is going to be done on the grill today. So every single thing on here, from this shrimp, Italian sausage, pork chop, Hennessy infused chicken, hamburger. Now this is from a separate video. So this is a ham, tomato, and cucumber salad. Definitely diet food, definitely low carb if you're looking for something low carb. So in other words, because these little tomatoes, these are really small tomatoes. So if you read the nutrition information on them, you find out they don't have a lot of carbs. So basically this plate is a low carb plate, but it's a plate of barbecue. So it's a plate any regular person would eat. Just put some buns or some bread with it and we cool, see? So I'm telling you, you want to make this. This is a green onion teriyaki glaze on the shrimp. That is so damn good. As always, I appreciate you. Hit that like, subscribe, and share. Thank you.